Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my Pastel Plein Air sketchbook, and before I get to that I'm going to show you my plein air kit for pastel painting, my small kit, my little travel one. So let me show you that. So I have it in this little backpack. It works really well. I think this backpack was a DSW giveaway. I'm not sure anymore. But there's not a lot of different things in it. It's a little bit sparser than my watercolor ones. I've got my business cards, my Moo cards that I really like because you can get all different designs on your cards without paying a bunch more money. You can do as many designs as you want, so it's kind of fun because I have my monsters, I have my watercolors, I have my pastels, and I have my alcohol inks on my cards. I have a little package of wipes, always handy when you're working with pastels. Let's see what else I have in here. Oh, this is a little silly thing. I haven't even taken it out of the plastic yet. Here we go. My husband got a bunch of these at a little thrifty store, and basically it's a mirror. So if you need to see something that you can't see without a mirror, I just threw them into all my bags. Kind of silly, but and then I have my bug spray because I don't like to get bit. This is a little pouch for a ATC card, artist trading card. I have some hand sanitizer. And I have a little piece of insulation pipe to blend with. Oh, and I have a hair tie and bobby pins so that if my hair is long right then, it can't drive me out of my mind crazy. I usually keep a little board with a small trading card piece of pastel paper so that I can do something small if I want. Not sure it's in here right now. I also try and keep sunscreen, but I don't see the sunscreen in this one. I don't think it's in the main part, but looks like I might need to add some. So let's open this up. I'm going to go sideways. It'll be easier for all of us. First thing I have in here is an apron from a dollar store, Dollarama. I can either put it on completely like an apron, or I can lay it over my lap. Saves my clothes. This has been very, very helpful. And it doesn't take up very much space, and well worth the amount of space it does take up. These are, I get these towels at the dollar store. They come like 3 in a package, and I cut them in half and serge the edge and throw them in the washing machine. They get really dirty, which it looks like this one could use bath, but those work really well to keep your hands clean. I don't like to paint with gloves on. Not that I don't do it sometimes, but I don't really like to. This is just a sheet of visqueen that I can put on the ground by me to put my stuff on, so that I don't have to worry about ticks and bugs coming home with me, because I don't like ticks and bugs. Now this little kit I painted with some alcohol ink on this little tin, and this has an assortment of Prismacolor hard pastels, which the name will come into my head at some point along the way. I don't know if any of these say what they are, but anyway, they're the Prismacolor hard pastels. What else do I have? I have packaged tissues. I have my big container of pastels, which I'll open in a second. And I have my paper, which is where my sketchbook is. I have a paintbrush, and I use this to blend the pastels also. Sometimes I bring a watercolor set along, a little watercolor tub that I can use to do an underpainting, but this works also just to blend in an underpainting. I like this little clipboard because it holds my sketchbook. I have a little scrap paper to test colors on. I have a little mat board that I can use to like a viewfinder to figure out what I want to paint that's in the right shape for what I'm painting on. And then this is my little sketchbook, which I'll go through my sketchbook tour with you in a minute as soon as I get through all this. Works great. I can flip it around to the page I'm on. Let's just do that. And I can clip it here and it doesn't blow and it's nice and secure. And when I do that part, I can just move it over a little bit. So this works really, really nicely. And then these are my pastels. They are just some of my smaller pieces that I've curated into this box. And I can tell you, I painted on this with alcohol inks too, just because it's fun. I keep this thick piece of foam there. I do need to do some editing on this, and you can see they get dusty really easily because of the way that they're in this box together. But you can just kind of take a towel and dab them off if you want, or wipe them as you use them. Generally, when I'm painting outside and on plein air, it doesn't really bother me too bad if they're not perfect. But you can always do that. So it's a nice little selection. I know that I'm lacking in some greens. Every time I go out, I go, oh, I really have to tweak my greens. Pretty much my greens that I find lacking. So I'm going to have to do that soon before I go back out. But this is really nice to have. And I really like having this smaller kit. I can grab it at a moment's notice and do some pastel painting way easier than if I bring my big box of pastels or my really big box of pastels and my wooden easel and all that. I will do a video on that whole setup because I have that all. I made a backpack that would fit all that. My smaller box anyway. My smaller box that's bigger than this. And it is nice to paint with that sometime. If you know you're going to be out for a long time and you've got quite a bit of time to set up and such, or you're doing a bigger piece, like a full-size painting or something, then I would bring that. But just for a quick little sketch at Stoney Creek, this works great. So, on to my sketchbook tour. So this is my book. The cover of it is a piece of watercolor paper that I painted a watercolor on that's supposed to represent the pretty pastels on the inside, because this doesn't rub off. When I do my next one, I think I'm going to put spray my watercolor with something because it did get very dirty, and that might help it. But if I do it in pastel, I don't really have a pastel fixative that I like that would work to protect it. So I guess I could put a clear cover of a clear sheet on top of it and do it that way, but I still think it would get messed up more than I'd like. So this just makes it easier to do it in watercolor. But the front is watercolor paper. The back is a piece of cardboard. I have a little machine that punches holes and lets you bind books with these double wire binding. If you did not have access to that, you could just punch holes and get a old piece of binding from a previous used up maybe notebook, sketchbook, whatever, something that you would not want to keep the pages of. But anyway, I make my books out of, it's mostly Lux Archival, I think, which I really like this paper. It's very much like UArt, only it is not curling. I also used Fisher 500 or Fisher 400, I think. And I like that one too because it doesn't curve. So some of the sheets are that. I did not use UArt because the UArt curls. But I use UArt for other things. And so when I do a piece of artwork in pastel, I don't put glycine on top of it. Glassine, excuse me. So I put it in little bags. So all my glassine paper was still in one of these, and I just used that for this. Now I see that I don't have very much left, and I might actually have to go buy an actual pad or however it comes of glassine to do my next one. So good to know that that would work too. I just used what I had on hand. But this worked really, really well. So I'm just going to do a quick tour here, and so you can see what I have inside. So my little sheet of glassine, and this I painted in June of last year, and I believe it was at Stoney Creek. Might have been in this not finished subdivision we went to. It's starting to look like that scenery. Not really sure. Should write these things down, but it doesn't really matter. It's only important to me. And this was from a picture I took. I painted this one in July of last year. Probably seeking a little bit of a break from World Watercolor Month. Use a little pastels for change pace, and there's just some wildflowers and a log. So that was kind of fun. This one was last year, and it was up north in by Traverse City in Michigan. And we went to the beach when I was up there doing an art fair. And my sister and husband and I, and we did some plein air. And I did we all did the lighthouse, various views of the lighthouse, but it was really cool. I don't remember the exact name of that lighthouse right now. I'll try and put it in the description below. See, this one is on Fisher 400. You can tell because Fisher 400 says it on the back. So now this was at Stoney Creek Metro Park, and I have a video of this painting. If you'd be interested in that, I'll put that link also in my description. If I could figure out how to do it right here, right now, I will try and do that, but I don't think I know how to do that yet. But that was a lot of fun. That was a really cool spot. This is up at our cottage in Canada on Lake Huron, and I was looking north and painting the beach. That was a lot of fun too. Now this one, this is, I believe, Stoney Creek. This was September of last year, and I was looking at the river, heading up to the peak right up there, where it disappears around a bend. So trying to practice my loose mark making. Here, this was in October, and we went to Bayfield in Canada and up on the bluff and did some plein air painting. And there's a really cool tree up there and a nice view of the water. There is also a video on. This was at Stoney Creek, and this was in February of this year, which is crazy because I don't usually go outside in February, much less go outside and paint. But it was such a beautiful, unusual day, beautiful weather. So I sat down by the water and painted. Some of these are a little out of order because I skipped one somewhere in a page somewhere. I don't remember where now. This was May of this year, and I was sitting on our deck at the cottage, and we have a lovely birch tree that just arches over away from the cottage, and I sat and sketched that one afternoon. And then later on, my husband and sister and I went off to get some dinner at a local brewery. And on our way back, we wound our way down by the Maitland River, and were able to sit down near the water and paint. And this was a big bluff in the back and the trees at the top, and it's just very idyllic, and it was a lovely place to paint. I enjoyed that thoroughly. Now I was practicing, I had a photo I took a long time ago, and I was trying to see how well I would like it as a bigger piece. And I thought I would try it as a smaller piece first, and I did this in June of this year, although the picture was 10 years old. This last one I did just a little bit ago, about a week ago. My sisters and I headed back out to Stoney Creek, and this is a different view of the same little river. And I painted that one with a little bit of a waterfall, and the water's very green this time of year especially. So that was lots of fun. And you can see it doesn't hold a whole lot of pages, so it's short and sweet. I did add pages as I went along because it started out a little skinnier. I could add some more, but I don't think I want to. I think for this size binder, that's just isn't as many is a good amount for this size book, and it just works wonderfully for me. And hopefully I've inspired you to make your own, because I think if you like to plein air and you like to paint in pastels, soft pastels, you should give this a try. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back and check out my other videos. I've got quite a few on pastels, and I have watercolor, and I have gouache, and other miscellaneous things, and sketchbook tours, etc. My office studio tour. I have a studio tour. I have all my to-go kits for my watercolor stuff, if you're interested in that. I still have to get to my gouache. I haven't done those ones yet. But at least I've covered now the small pastel kit. And if you liked this video, hit that like button. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when I put up a new one, hit the cute little bell. And please check out my Etsy shop. I have prints of my artwork and a few other things, stickers and magnets and cool stuff, and of course my monsters. So if you check that out, it'd be much appreciated. And you can also buy me a cup of coffee now. That's at the in the description below. So that would be really cool too. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.